it is still cheaper to fill up in the US than it is to fill up in Canada. So you're probably wondering, how has the Canadian carbon tax affected us Canadian trucking companies? Well, let's get into it in detail. Well, April of 2024 came along, so then they upped our carbon tax. But how has that affected us Canadian trucking companies at the actual pump? So what I've done is I've taken an analysis of the cost per barrel back in March of 2024, and today is May 1st, and I've taken the cost per barrel in May. I've taken the most popular cities across Canada, and I'm going to analyze them, whether the pump price has gone up, has stayed the same, or did it actually go down? Well, let's get into it. So every few days I get an email from BVD with their updated pricing list across Canada, okay? So what I've done is I've taken the one that they emailed me in March, and basically I compared it to the one that they emailed me on May 1st. So just to get this out of the way, the cost of a barrel was almost exactly the same back in March as it is right now in May 1st. The cost back then was $81.95, which was the cost of a barrel. And today the cost of the barrel, when I'm doing this video, is $82.61. So identical barrel cost. Now let's see what has happened to our pump prices. Now, first we'll go in from Ontario, we'll go into Quebec, then we'll go into New Brunswick, we'll talk about BC, and then we'll go into Alberta. All right, so Ontario first. Finally, our dispatch course is live with feedback from over 500,000 truck drivers, small fleet owners, and owner operators in our community, and my experience running over 100 power units and 3 terminals. We have designed the perfect dispatch course for those interested. The course was designed for you to take at your own pace, at your own time, and in the comfort of your own home. And best of all, it is now available on the most trusted platform. Now, even better, when you complete the training course, you will have access to ongoing training and mentorship sessions by me. There's a reason why my load booking videos have received over 48 million views. Other companies have even started using them as training videos for their new staff. The dispatch course that we've designed is going to be going into detail on opening your own fleet, the responsibility of a dispatcher in calculating the rate per mile and the cost per mile of running a truck. For those interested, come join me in this lucrative industry. So in Ontario, okay, back in March, the pump price in Toronto, okay, specifically in Toronto North, which is Etobicoke, the pump price was $1.71. In North York, the pump price was $1.72. Now, if we compare it to right now in May 1st, we have the identical pricing, which is $1.71 and $1.72. Okay, so Toronto and North York, identical cost price for diesel. Now, next one will go into Quebec. So in Quebec, the price of diesel in Laval was $2.06. Today, in the exact same station, it's $2.06. In Saint Jean Port Joli, $2.11. Today, the same $2.11, identical pricing. Now we're gonna get into Moncton. So in Moncton, New Brunswick, in March, okay, so before the carbon tax was introduced, the price of a liter, okay, guys, this is all in liters, we're in Canada, price of a liter, $1.81 per liter. Now, after the carbon tax was introduced, okay, now it's at $1.90 per liter. All right, so in Moncton, the diesel prices have shot up by 9 cents after the carbon tax was introduced. Now we're gonna go into British Columbia. In British Columbia, in Kelowna and Vancouver. In Kelowna, British Columbia, the price back then was $1.86. Today in Kelowna, we have the exact same fuel price, $1.86. Now let's get into Vancouver. Vancouver's fuel price back then was $1.87. Right now, their pump price is $1.83. So in Vancouver, the diesel price actually went down a little bit from March until May. So before the carbon tax versus after the carbon tax. Now Calgary. In Calgary, before the carbon tax was introduced, Calgary had the pump price at $1.69 per liter. And now Calgary is paying $1.65 per liter. So again, in Calgary, again, another 5 cent drop. So you can see here. Only in Moncton, New Brunswick do I see that the carbon tax is affected. I mean, this is actually taking out pump prices back then versus pump prices right now. So when you're looking at the whole thing as a whole, I don't see a significant increase. I will do the exact same thing next month. I want to see and compare before the carbon tax introduced and after the carbon tax is introduced. I know that if I see a significant increase or even a little bit increase in the cost of fuel, I am directing a lot of my fleet that is doing cross-border. I'm directing them to go into the US to fill up over there because the prices are a lot cheaper in the US than they are in Canada. Even if you take the conversion rate of the US dollar to Canadians, and even if you're paying taxes, okay, even after you receive your bill for IFTA, it is still cheaper to fill up in the US than it is to fill up in Canada. The only time that I really like the Canadian fuel over the US fuel is in the months of January and February. I truly believe the additives in our fuel, the diesel is a little bit cleaner and is better for our Canadian weather. But spring, summer, and fall, all day long, I would fill up in the US versus in Canada in order to save money on the fuel. If you follow along in this channel, guys, I can do one dedicated video for all of you guys out there, the difference in price when you fill up in the US versus when you fill up in Canada, after your HST rebate in Canada and after paying the fuel tax in a particular state. I really think that would be a cool video.